The number one thing that challenged my leadership was knowing what I wanted. Yes, the key to this is you must know what you want. You can't go into a project, especially one that is so complex and so detailed as software, but this applies to any project that you go into as a leader. You must know what your outcome is. You must have it clearly defined what you want to achieve and what you want it to look like. You also need to take the time to know what you don't want. Because as leaders, when we're stepping into a new project, we have to take time so that we know what we want and what we don't want. And the three keys to that is making sure we get inspiration from other amazing things that are operating. In my case, it was mobile applications. Number two is see what industry leaders are doing. And number three is you make sure that you get the right information. That's right. Get inspiration, know what industry leaders are doing, and get the information. That's right. They all started with I. I thought I'd make it nice and poetic for you. You know, Proverbs 9:12 says, desire without knowledge is not good. How much more will hasty feet miss the way? Because if you don't take the time to actually know exactly what you want, what you don't want, and plan it out, you must know what you want. Because if you don't, you might run ahead and create something that you're not ready for. So if we have a desire as a leader, but don't back it up with well-informed knowledge, well, as Proverbs says, our feet might run in the wrong direction. You know what? I've been developing online programs for over 10 years. When I first started coaching over 11 years ago, I really found myself drawn to creating online programs well before they were even popular. Now, every man and his dog has them. Actually, back then, it actually cost me about $10,000 every month just to manage my online programs. Now, you can do it for a couple of $100. So although I've been creating online programs for years, I realized I wanted this program to be different. There was a lot of things that I learned to do, not to do, what worked, what didn't work. And I really wanted to make sure that this program was almost, I suppose, the culmination of my years of experience to create what I would hope be the ultimate online program. Because I'm really focused on our mandate of eradicating poor leadership by raising up the next generation of influential leaders. Because I believe there's way too many people that have been hurt, used and abused, unfulfilled through poor leadership. And so I wanted to make sure that this is almost like our life legacy, right? This would be the mark that we leave on the planet. So I wanted this to be right, not just to be another online program. And so I went to those three key areas to make sure that I knew what I wanted. The first one was inspiration. Well, I looked at what apps do I currently use that I really enjoy using? What are the apps that I'm currently using that really influence my life, that I like to go back to regularly because I want my users to have that same feeling? So what apps are there that create that feeling for me? And so there was a couple of apps that I used. My YouVersion Bible app, I use it every day. And I really liked how much interaction they've created from just reading a Bible. There's lots of engagement. There's lots of sharing. There's lots of opportunity for community. There's lots of elements that what they've done is they've made this Bible app not just about reading a Bible, but they've created a whole experience about it that keeps you going back. And I absolutely loved that. Another app that I've been using a lot is an app called Duolingo. Yes, I've moved overseas and I live in the Dominican Republic and I'm learning Spanish. And I've learned Spanish for many years and kind of done programs, but didn't find anything that kind of advanced me past basic Spanish. I could speak basic Spanish, but not advanced Spanish. I couldn't carry on a conversation. So then I was referred to an app called Duolingo. And the way I learn through that is so engaging, has really good gamification. It really draws me in. I go back all the time. I have fun using it. It's challenging and I'm learning from it. And so I took inspiration from these key apps that I use almost every day and taken some of those concepts, taken some of those things that I liked out of there to apply to my project so that I knew what I wanted. So to know what you want as a leader, you must draw inspiration from other things that drive you. The second key to knowing what you want is look at what the industry leaders are doing. When I looked into LMSs, I looked at my past. I'd used LMSs at university. So I went and researched what the university is using and the LMSs that I'd used previously. I also realized that the French seem to have the market cornered when it comes to LMSs, learning management software. They're at the pinnacle of the game of LMSs. So I actually spent a lot of time communicating with French developers that were experts in LMSs. I downloaded a whole bunch and joined and applied for many different learning management softwares, whether they just be like the generic off-the-shelf ones or ones that you could buy and customize. And I used all of these so that I could see what features I liked, which ones I didn't like. I went through and I'm like, oh, I really like how that feature there, but I don't like how it's applied. I really like this functionality, but it doesn't join with the other functionality. And I went through as a student to try to learn as much as I could about these other LMSs to see what I liked and what I didn't like. So if you want to know what you want as a leader, you must look at what the industry leaders are doing and delve deep into what they offer so you can experience for yourself so you know what you really want. And the third key to be able to make sure we know what we want is information. That's right, be well informed, do your research. So I went and did a lot of my own research and learned and studied so much about not only software development, mobile applications and coding language and what's possible and what's not, but I also researched a lot around education. I went back in, I have a university degree in education, so I went back and poured through my old notes to make sure that I was using all of the things that I've learned over time, as well as learning what modern education techniques there are available, what trends have changed, why, and what the psychology behind education. I went and interviewed a psychologist that I know to make sure that I was well informed around everything, not just software, but around education, so that I knew exactly what I want. So if you want to know exactly what you want, make sure you get the information. After I got inspiration, after I saw what industry leaders are doing and got information, I then created a short list of what it was that I knew that I wanted and didn't want in my software. First is I knew that it needed to be mobile centric. This wasn't just going to be some online thing that you have to log into a website or whatever. It needed to be mobile centric because we all travel with our mobiles. We're always with our mobiles. I don't want people logging into some website somewhere or anything like that. And I also didn't want the mobile application just to be a shell application where it just feeds from a website as well. I wanted it to be a native app, so people could take it on the go, learn offline and all those sorts of things and all the advantages of having a native mobile application. The second is I knew that we had to include gamification because people don't just want to learn information. They want to enjoy it. There's a reason why games are so engaging. So we knew that we wanted to include gamification into our education. We also knew that we needed to drip feed content. I didn't want people to just binge the information because leadership is not something you can learn a whole bunch of information on a weekend and become a better leader. It's about growing and developing over time. So I knew that I didn't want to make the information available to be binged so people could rush ahead. I want people to learn something and then focus on applying it. Learn something and focus on applying it. And then the fifth thing is I knew it had to have a great UI, UX. That's a user interface / user experience. I realized that a lot of the mobile applications or learning management softwares were very basic to use and just kind of look like a developer created them. Whereas some of the other applications I've used, like the Bible app and Duolingo, they were so engaging. The user experience was fun, was engaging. You knew where things were. Things were in a natural, organic place. So I knew that we wanted to make the app as engaging and as great of a user experience as possible. So knowing that I had this list, I then looked at all of the possible options that were available, and none of them could suit what I wanted. Some were really good at one, but not the other. And so that's why we decided to develop our own mobile application. So the first way I was challenged as a leader to build my own app was to know what I wanted. And so I had to be inspired, see what industry leaders were doing, and get the information. Hey, did you enjoy that video? If so, share the love. And if you want to learn more from my life experiences that have challenged my leadership so you can grow and develop as a leader, or would like to watch other faith-based leadership development content, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you can be notified whenever we release new videos.